day 2 of the Bahamas Young Chef Culinary Competition, and today's cook-off sends us on an island getaway of sorts to the Big Yard Andros and down south to Inagua, where students from these islands will go fork to fork in the kitchen. I'm Ayanthea Ferguson, your host for these competitions. It's been 29 years since this competition got started, with hundreds of young Bahamian chefs whipping it up in the kitchen. 29 years later, and all eyes are on these 5 students from North Andros High, Central Andros High, Inagua All-Age School, and Huntley Christie High School in this round of the competition. The cook-off has been faithfully sponsored by the Government of the Bahamas, the Ministry and Department of Education, Mahatma Rice, and Robin Hood Flour. Also making this competition a success over the years are the dozens of local Bahamian chefs who give of their time, talent to help train and judge our students in the competition. So let's meet today's judges. Today's tasting judges who will be joining our young chefs in their respective kitchens are Chef Addie Mae Farrington, who's stationed in North Andros, Chef Hazel Roll holding down the fort in South Andros, and Chef Michael Adderley, who's down south in Inagua. For today, our in-studio judges are Chef Eldridge Saunders, Chief Judge Chef Gerald Roll, Chef Joel Johnson, and Chef Clement Williams. Education Officer in the Family and Consumer Science Education Unit, Ms. Raquel Turnquest, had a quick word of prayer and thanks to everyone who helped to pull off this massive feat.
Today we pray God's blessings on each and every one of you. We thank you and your parents and your school and your teachers for persevering even in the midst of COVID, for us to actually carry out these competitions. And as usual, we thank the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, along with our international sponsors, Mahatma Rice and Robin Hood Flour, for the continuous support of these culinary competitions for a total of 29 years, and we look forward to year 30.
Yes, thanks very much for this opportunity. We are really blessed there in Andros that we can have our competition at home. You know, I was always an advocate for students to showcase their talent in their communities, in their homes, the community where they live. And even though the pandemic came and it forced us to do this competition here in Andros, I think this is a step in the right direction, primarily because these students are from Andros. This is where they live. This is where they grow their crops. This is where they learn how to cook. This is where they see their teachers and their friends. And it's important that we give them this opportunity to showcase their talent here on the ground in Andros. And so we thank you too for this initiative and this vision, allowing students to compete at home. And we hope and pray that next year will be even bigger and better. And I'll share the floor with my colleague, Mr. Clyde, because he's one of the persons here who helped to engineer this school in terms of being a powerhouse when it comes to competitions. We expect the entire trophy to end up in Andros, but I'll let Mr. Clyde communicate with you in terms of what he expects from this competition. Principal Clyde.
Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Turnquest.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm in agreement with Mr. Forbes. It was a pleasure for us hosting it at this campus, this session today. We appreciate the reach out from Ms. Turnquest that we could really display the edifice that we have here, this lab that we have here with the various equipment and the facility, especially, that the whole Bahamas can see that we have something here in this district. And we, like Mr. Forbes said, we are looking forward for next year, where we will be much better and on a larger scale. But we really feel appreciative today for what was done here this morning. And thank you so much to the committee and to you, Ms. Turnquest, for reaching out to us.
And here are the rules. All students have to create a flour dish and a rice dish using products from the competition sponsors, Mahatma Rice and Robin Hood Flour, and they have 2 hours to complete both dishes. Let's meet our young chefs now and see what delicious things they'll be preparing. Our junior competitors are Rachel Newton from Huntley Christie High School in North Andros, who will be preparing for us today her Buzzard Bay avocado conch Robin Hood fritters served with a spicy avocado dressing and sweet androgens Mahatma rice cakes served with a South Mastic Point caramel sauce. And looking to bring her some stiff competition is Omega Brown from the Inagua All-Age School, who is hoping her coconut-herbed okra rice and pineapple glazed conch basket takes home the win. And in the senior competition, we have Hope Leslie from South Andros High, whose rice dish is a curried coconut rice with Andros fish croquet, and her flour dish is a cassava and conch dumpling with Congo Town soursop sauce and tomato coulis. Faith Thompson from Central Andros High, and her dish is a crab and seafood rice cake over a cilantro mango slaw served with a mango chili sauce and a sea grape dilly delight. Elvanique Roll is from the Inagua All-Age School, and she'll be preparing a rosemary conch delight layered with creamy crawfish tenders alongside cool tomato salsa topped with pineapple glazed carrots and a gluten-free coconut rice treat filled with tropical fruits, vegetable bites in pineapple beets sauce. Our in-studio and in-kitchen judges have already made their checks to ensure that each student has their tools, sanitation buckets, and stations prepped and are ready to go. And with that, they're off. A lot of cutting, chopping, slicing, and dicing to get these dishes started. But let's eavesdrop now to hear what our in-studio judges are saying as our young chefs begin their prep. It seems like they're making some early predictions.
I'm hoping that I could see something, because now you're really dealing with the family of islands. You could really have something distinct right from that island, you know, not what you get everywhere else. I'm hoping that they went into the bushes or into the farm.
And use some of their indigenous products,
products,
so
you know,
that island,
that we can really exploit, you know.
I'm actually expecting the islands to do better than Nassau did, to be honest. I'm hoping for it. Most of the time it's be that way, because they can harvest, especially like Inagua, 2 years back to back. I got an opportunity first time to taste donkey meat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to taste that. They actually produce donkey meat in the competition for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And which was
Is it legal to eat donkey?
Huh?
No, I think it's flamingos.
It's flamingo.
flamingo.
You don't call that flaming, you call that hush hush. That's illegal, so just say hush hush.
Hush hush.
Hush hush.
Creativity and thinking outside of the box that they
using something indigenous to them.
So
Yes.
But
and they ain't afraid to use, because trust me, if it was me back then, I wouldn't gonna use no donkey meat. But now they really being gutsy and using some
I would like to see
even
how
in
they
Andros with the
because I
wild,
know
even
that
in
would
Andros with the wild hog, that's even the thing, because we don't eat.
Yes.
You
We
don't
don't
hear about
usually
the wild
eat those,
hog,
yes, like
so
that.
That's really good,
It's not really featured that much on. You won't see that wild hog on the menu.
Right.
Not here.
And
no.
because you're dealing with Inagua, you're looking to see how versatile they're going to use the salt, because they have so much different stages of salt that goes through process.
Yes.
How they're going to use it.
And it seemed as though the teachers from all of the various departments really helped and chipped in. Even the teachers from the gardening, the student garden club, even though it's COVID, some of them still took it upon themselves to make sure plant the stuff that they would have needed for the day. Because in this kitchen from Central, they bought up fresh basil, a variety of basil and parsley, straight out their student kitchen, along with the fresh mint. So they have a variety of fresh herbs that they're going to be using today from Central Andros. So that's interesting that all the teachers team up to make it happen.
Yeah, community effort. That's great.
very good.
At the end of the day, they're all winners. They're all winners. So it's good when you can come together and have that camaraderie. That's excellent. Tell you though, these menus, all of these menus, there's nothing. Everything is detailed in these menus. Everything is detailed in these menus.
I guess this is
Yeah,
amazing.
they give you down to everything.
The past 2 years, the menus just be like 2 pages, 3 pages, but
Yeah, that's when they said they get booklets.
these
Yeah,
are
that's
books.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
these
Yeah.
We have at least about 30 to 40 pages. And they really went out. They had
Yeah,
some
it's
time.
quite detailed, you know.
they
Really
had some time
kudos
to
to the
really spend-
teachers
spend on
and the
this.
parents, of course. You
Yeah,
know.
they really did some work on this.
Well, it shows plain that over the years there's been a big improvement. They're doing far more research, and so
Yeah.
with that, we're getting more information on the
Information.
products that they're preparing. So
Yeah.
this is great. So that
Yeah.
by the time they reach the level of, if they prefer to go into culinary school or move on, they would have had some opportunity to research and
Yeah.
really refine the products that they're making.
Yeah. Mhm.
And this is what we're looking for, you know,
Yeah,
in this
and-
country where we'll be able to use our own things.
Yeah.
Be able to promote what is truly Bahamian, and
We should be
this
doing
is
a-
what we're seeing here.
We should
Yeah.
be doing a lot
Congratulations
more.
to them, all, everybody.
It looks like the judges are so far impressed from the students' recipes to their organizational skills, the judges are already expecting great things to come out of these 2 kitchens.
And just watching them use indigenous fat from the seafood and everything else and all the lovely flavors that are going on. I'm going to explain it to you because you're virtually watching us. Just to see these young persons, marry these flavors, and the smell in the room is awesome. It's an amazing smell. It makes you feel like, yes, I am in the island of the Bahamas.
Yeah, just bring some back, you know. Not only for us, but for those, the camera guys here too, you know, the camera team here too. They're smiling also, so they want to enjoy some of that. So you got to put some of that in your pocket, you know.
Oh.
Or how we like to
And
say.
the nice thing is, the amazing thing just listening to you talk, it tells us that we're doing something right because a lot of the teachers that I've met this today and yesterday are former graduates from the apprentice and the family consumer program.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Mrs. Edscombe and Mrs. Turnquest should be very proud of their student, and so shall us, as well as the chefs up there. Mr. Clement Williams, we have some teachers that you would have been your apprentice,
Wow.
as well as Chef Sanders. So you should be proud of your students and all these family of islands. They're having themselves a great time passing on our craft and skills to the younger generations to come.
Well, you know, we've had the opportunity for someone to do it to us, so it's always an honor to pass it on because, you know, there's a lot in the grave that should have been in the minds of people right
Amen to
now,
that.
so we just thank God that we're able to be of assistance in some way, you know, and just, it's a continuous process, you know, there's it's like a succession plan, just keeps it going, you know.
Chef Hazel is making the rounds in her kitchen as Hope Leslie whips up her dish. Let's check in.
Right now she's using
Oh, sorry.
cassava. Also her conch, was she using conch, cassava, and some fresh green onion that grows right in the back of the schoolyard.
Wow,
And right now, yeah, cassava and the fresh green onion and conch have on the stove, and her lobster is on the stove. Cassava is in the pot already,
Okay. So
and then
it's
the group
farm to the table.
Yes, ma'am.
And let's hop on over to Andros to see how things are shaping up over there.
Great, what are you making?
Right now, I'm making my batter for my Secret Dilly Delight. I'm creaming fat with flour, half and half, and adding my 3 portions of sugar, which was a half a cup.
And they have the terminologies down pat.
So she's doing her Dilly Delight.
She can talk very well.
Flour item? What made you come up with this idea?
Well, sea grape were in my yard, and I loved the fruit, and I just wanted to make something using it. And jelly, I don't really see that much people use it in pastry or,
Excellent.
in cooking.
Excellent.
So I was like, let me try, be creative, and do something new.
Excellent.
Well, there you have it, Chef. We have one of my favorites, sea grape from her backyard and the dilly. She forage, and so I love foraging local items, and so we're gonna see what this amazing sea grape and dilly delight looks like and taste. I can tell you, she worked at blend those sea grapes. As she was prepping those, the amazing color. It's a lovely color bust. She prepped those. Yeah, she prepped those, and this is what she have from a sea grape.
It's a beautiful color. Wow.
So I've got a bird's eye view in this competition, and what I can tell you is that the judges are extremely proud of what they've seen in these kitchens so far, even going so far as to say that they feel like they're not looking at student chefs, but professionals.
I hope during the 30-year period, we have a lot of students who excel in moving their creativity to more on the food of science of food, like gastronomy. For us to get to that level. That was the reason why we introduced that in the last 2 culinary conference, so they can get an idea and the teachers could get an idea where the industry is now.
Moving.
Yeah. So it'll be good for us to come next year to see some students get into that. The science of food.
Rachel Newton, North Andres, is molding her coconut and rice and coconut rice dish. So this one is interesting. I know we had a favorite chef, bless his heart, Hans Van Ross. When he come to eat, he want food, so we're gonna see what's the makeup, the combination is gonna be with this nice, neat. I hope you see the student is molding their rice. So she's molding her little rice, flour rice item.
Yeah, I was wondering.
The camera is there.
I was looking at that, saying, I guess it has to be said because I know it's just 40 minutes into the competition, and I was wondering if they're starting this early in terms of putting their plates together. But since it's just being boiled, then that means it has to be set. Okay, so okay, excellent.
Down in South Andres, we have Hope now. She's prepping herbs for her rice, a rice dish, and there's an onion and garlic, black pepper, and salt. We have prep and with the tomato puree, prep for her rice. Right now things is looking good. The pot is boiling up. We get the tomato in the water. Boiling, and also she still have a pepper. Also, and then her rice could be a cassava we have going on. I will give her a mic so she can explain more about her dish and why she chose this dish.
I chose this dish, the rice dish, the Mahatma rice dish. The dish originated from rice below. My great grandmother, back in her days, her and others from South Andres used to do the rice below, since they lacked in ingredients. So I wanted to recreate this dish into a gourmet dish that they can enjoy by adding newer ingredients. I used coconut. I used the coconut. I kept the coconut and coconut flakes for texture and flavor. I used curry because they used that a lot back in the days. Instead of adding the Irish potatoes in the rice dish, I decided to make glazed Irish potatoes because you don't see that often. You usually see glazed carrots, so I wanted to do something different. I cook in my rice to make a roll, the dough.
So what's inside the pot right now?
There's coconut milk, rice, and 3 tablespoons of coconut oil.
Did you blend the rice?
That's for dogs.
Yes, I blend the rice.
Say no, because I did that.
That's smooth.
Say what?
No, it didn't.
It should set because it has coconut, and coconut has a lot of oil. So once it go in the freezer, refrigerator, it's gonna set. Then over here we have the conch. and you had a lobster. What you do to lobster?
That's conch?
Okay.
It's gone. It's
a lot of-
tenderized.
oh, yeah, okay, there we go.
That's a lot of Kong, boys.
Island Kong. You can see it.
That's enough Kong to feed the staff and kick in the school. That's
So lobster and sour cream?
What it's for them to have their party afterwards.
Afterwards.
But lobster here with sour cream and cream cheese. And you also using coconut milk, right?
Mike, that lobster mixture, was that made right there or?
Right in front of me.
Okay, very good. Boy, Mike, I see a lot of Kong there. You're going to have a party afterwards.
And it's good to see that they're using a lot of techniques. Techniques, you know.
Different techniques.
I see she's blanching her tomatoes so that the so she can shock it and then peel the skin off to make a proper concasse. So
they
you know,
really
kudos
use
for them and their teachers for teaching them these sort of things.
Good thing we didn't have them in Nassau. We really would have had a fight.
Yeah, it would have been a real fight, yeah.
There would have been a battle.
Oh, the judges see a battle between the young chefs brewing up in these kitchens.
Okay, chef. Here we got
Yes, definitely, 100%.
The rice mixture that I made the first time. Then I have plantain, sweet potato, and cassava to bind it together.
got that?
Yeah, we got that. I really looking forward to see this dish. Really looking forward to see this dish, yeah. No, I want to see the sea grape guava. I want to see, not guava, sorry, sea grape dilly. I like that, but this right here, you know, I like to see.
I can let you know how it tastes.
We hope so. Very innovative.
But you know,
they're using.
They really do. But
yes.
The emulsion of different herbs and
Flavors and
spices
sauces,
everything.
and the coming together of how it's really beautiful, man.
And I like the techniques they're using.
Yeah, they have us captivated right now.
And our young chef's dishes are looking so good, we think our in-studio judges might just be a tad bit jealous of our on-site judges.
I'm happy I came here today.
I really want to taste.
Yeah.
I really want to taste some of these dishes now, based on how they look.
It's a pity we couldn't get a plane that just package them and send a sample here.
Yeah, we got to do something.
Wow. They came to compete this year.
She turned the muffin cake upside down, though.
She actually made a
So they can know where they at.
With 20 minutes left to go in the kitchen, the judges are now pushing these young chefs to move on to the final stage, which is plating their dishes.
You notice that I'm here getting nervous, but I see now how the judges felt in the United States with the Bahamians. They said we're so laid back in terms of when there should be pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it seemed to me as if, you know, they don't care.
They
and
cool,
I'm here
calm,
nervous that
collected.
are they going to meet the deadline?
But we care, but we you know.
No, they don't care. We're caring because we're seeing now from experience. But
like we don't.
they probably have it down packed that much that, you know, they're going to meet the deadline.
That's when practice comes into play. You know what you're doing. You know exactly where you are. You know what
Chef said he came in. Bahamas team, the culinary teams were milling around doing something. He walked back out. He came back in the kitchen. The Bahamian team was still milling about. So he went back out to the chefs. He said, you know, the Bahamas team haven't started nothing yet. And he said he came back in about 15 minutes later and it was a burst of aroma in the air. So he never smelled something so well. He said they're on the run. Yeah. So I say that because here in the Bahamas, we don't put pressure. We look for quality over presenting something that is going to be inferior. And so here it is, we're seeing it done here. I'm now a little worried that they're under 20 minutes, and some of them are still, you know,
cool, calm, and collected.
Kneading the dough or whatever. How are they going to cook that? How's that going to be prepared in time?
You got 12 minutes left. 12 minutes left.
And And with that time check, our students get to plating their dishes, which again is a very important part of this competition. The shapes, sizes, plates, and vessels used all help to determine final scores. Not only should the food taste good, it must also present well. So here we see Rachel Newton beginning to plate her dish for presentation. And now we're ready for dish presentation and interview with the judges. Up first is senior competitor Elvinique Roll from the Inagua All-Age School.
My flour dish is my version of a deconstructed conch salad. It's conch patties made with a creamy crawfish sauce topped with glazed carrots served with a salsa. And then my rice dish is a gluten-free pineapple and beet stuff. Rice. And then it's served with sea moss sauce topped with mint. And then you have a scoop of papaya and a scoop of
The beet sauce, very nice, very unusual. Tastes like here some kind of ginger inside it. I don't need to taste the fruit. The sauce, the moss sauce. You can taste chunks of the moss in it. Nice idea.
Yeah.
Refinement on the roll would have made this better.
How's the texture?
Good texture. But she couldn't roll it properly.
Yeah,
We saw
there's quite a bit of
I
liquid
can
in the
see
beets.
she couldn't roll it tight. If she had not used the parchment, the wax paper, and used parchment paper, this would have stayed firm.
Yeah.
And that's something I'll critique with her. But overall, good flavors.
Yeah, that looked good.
Looks really good.
On the rosemary conch delight,
Deconstructed.
the sauce is creamy lobster tender, the top with pineapple crunchy glaze. She made a cream sauce. They say, we know if the sauce tastes good, taste it cold. This tastes good. Serious.
Are you tasting all the ingredients?
Mm-hmm.
He enjoying that.
Wow.
No,
You
I'm kind of sorry you guys ain't here.
would have no space left for your bonefish, man.
My rice dish is a coconut herb okra rice, and it have crawfish bites in the middle. On top is a pineapple salsa with butterfly pea leaves, and what you see right here is sweet potato in the sauce that I make from pumpkin, and carrot just cooked on with honey, coconut oil, and some sugar. This dish right here, same pumpkin sauce. It's a different pumpkin sauce, but it's pumpkin sauce. The cup made from conch, the fried sea moss, and then some mango salsa with basil leaves and the butterfly pea flour.
And Chef Adelie is going to be our taste tester once again.
I'll try the conch basket first. Not really rubbery.
Say it again?
Your conch is rubbery, you said?
Repeat that.
No,
She says
No.
not rubbery. Not rubbery.
it's cold. If it's hot, you have a different texture when you chew.
Well, Inagua conch is not tough anyhow. We always get it from there.
Really?
Their conch is very tender.
They big. My
They
brother
tender
lived there.
conchs.
He just sent conch. They together. They just be big like that.
Pumpkin sauce, you use some spice, but you're spicing the conch already. So it's more of a cooling effect rather than having both items spicy. Now, for the mystery item,
Sea moss.
Sea moss.
Is it still crunchy?
I don't.
oh, it isn't country because
It's cooled down.
it's cold.
It's cold.
It absorb.
So it had gone out hot as it's supposed to be served.
How was the flavor combination with the overall dish?
Tell you what, vegetarian delight. It's the crack conch.
And that right up your alley.
So now we have a new vegetarian crack conch.
Yeah.
What I would do with the pumpkin, I make the pumpkin taste more citrus. Spice it up a little bit.
to blend with
To
the
put
to
some
blend with
spice
the,
in the
blend
conch
with
in
the
the
sea
overall
moss.
dish.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yep.
literally, I wouldn't call it a basket. I would call it a conch bowl or something like that, a conch cup. So you could have this, and you could put your different sauces inside. This will sell like mad. You put this in any restaurant now, it's
Both
gone.
of them. Both
Yeah.
of them.
So
Both of
you
them.
say the only thing missing is a little more spice because it is a conch?
These students could grab up a thing and organize. Wow, this is what they're looking for.
You know, she'd make a reduction of orange, spice it up a little bit, and add the pumpkin to it.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay.
Overall, for a 9th grader and a 12th grader,
Yeah, very impressive.
that's impressive for me.
Very impressive.
Okay.
And to me, the flavor on this, they're the winners.
All right.
They taste good. You can put that in any restaurant.
It looks like our tasting chef is super impressed by what's happened there in Inagua. Let's see what our in-studio judges have to say about what they've seen.
Basically, when I saw her preparing the item, and I noticed how thick the rice part of it was, I realized that she was going to have problems rolling that because of the way it was prepared. I would have made that a little thinner like you said, a little wider, and the beets and the beets and pineapple, I would have cut up the beets a little smaller. They were a little too big to really roll consistently, so I would have cut it up and, like Chef said, added some cornstarch to that in order for it to hold the liquid, because as you were trying to put the product on top of the rice, the beets and the pineapple, you notice that it was running off of the rice part of it. And so next time, add a little bit of cornstarch to the item, or just strain out the excess water and put it on top, and then roll it so you can end up with rolls, with layers, so it look like more like a Tootsie Roll. And then when you cut it, you'll have that nice refined look. The other thing is you place a little bit of that beet sauce along with the that was papaya and watermelon. You can go with where you can isolate both items, but I would have, like how it is now, where you see it's been sitting and draining, you might well connect it, because when you're looking at products, a dessert display or plated dessert, you would want everything to connect. The the little balls were sitting out there by themselves. So you want people to know that everything is combining together. And so like how you see it now where the liquid is joining off, you could have just basically done that from the beginning. So it actually brings the whole dessert together as one dish and not two separate dishes on the item. But overall, it's very good work. The colors, vibrant. The little, that's a mint leaf or whatever, homemade mint leaf. I think that added, that green added that extra boost to the whole thing. But overall, very well done. Congratulations. Good indigenous products.
By looking at your dishes, what you did today is 100% improvement from the past 2 years when I was in Inagua when I judged you. Wow. I know you can remember me well.
Yes.
So I know by looking at your dishes and by watching you in the kitchen today, is a 360-degree turn from 2 years ago. So that's telling me that you went back, you took some of the critiques, some of the talks that we had in the workshop, and you put them to use, and you executed excellent today in the kitchen. I watch you, your cuts, the way how you keep your station organized and clean.
Yeah.
I must say, well done.
Yeah.
You did a great job in the kitchen today.
Thank you.
And for Omega Brown?
Overall, the two dishes that you executed today, from us watching you, at least more from me watching you, it'll be all. I must say, I'm not even sure how much time you had to practice. I'm sure it was a short time, a short window that you had, but from watching you, the way how you displayed your skills, your techniques when it comes down to the knives, using the cupcake pans as a mold, all those other type techniques that you displayed today was an excellent job. I must say, for a junior, the level you displayed today with your dishes, I almost take you for a senior.
At one point, we did
at one point, I did ask if she was a senior or a junior. When they tell me you was a junior, I said, you can't be serious.
Yep.
So I must commend you on your execution of your dishes today. And the reason why I asked you what inspired you was because I'm sure that your dishes, it took you some time to come up with that, because they were well put together. There wasn't something that somebody gave to you. You could see that it was well thought out, think about, tried, and you actually executed it the way how you had it laid out in your portfolio. So I must commend you and your teacher for an excellent job.
Yeah. I want to say, very professionally done. You were a professional in the kitchen. So the training, I have to give kudos, and since your mom is there, I have to give it to her first and then give it to the teacher next. So, but it was a great job. The only thing I could say, I mean, I won't go into detail because the dish, from my perception and looking at it, it was unique in itself. I've seen Irish moss, I've drank Irish moss, but never in my wildest dream as a chef for over 35 plus years would I think about deep frying Irish moss and coming like that. So that's something that so you see, even you can teach us something. So that's something I've learned from you today. You know, and the only thing I would have said, just to give another color because the dish is yellow, that same Irish moss juice that I saw you had, and that pea spout, which is green, take that, blend the pea spout into that Irish moss, thicken it up a little bit, and just drizzle it around the plate to give it a color, and that would have made the sauce. That's the only thing I would add to that, but it's remarkable for a junior, but we don't underestimate the minds of the young people.
Nope.
But it's really remarkable. Great job. Great job.
Yeah.
Well, I have, the only thing I'm looking at is the health issues. And I must say that from a nutritional point of view, you also hit the mark on the head, because everything was not just fried or using a bunch of, saturated oils. Yeah. I like the idea that you took the time to bake the product rather than frying it. and then you add it to vegetables and then fruits. And so that is the way we also have to think moving forward as Bahamians, that everything don't have to be fried and using a bunch of your oils to prepare good tasting food. So congratulations, you know, you've now begun to move what we are looking for in this country, which is good tasting food, not having to be always smothered in oils, but you can have something that is classy, looks good, and tastes good. Congratulations.
Yeah. On my end, to be honest, I don't have much to say about these dishes. I really like them. I just really admire how out of the box they were. They were really out of the box. They really were different. There's nothing that you would see repeated anywhere else. And I really, to speak to you directly, I really hope that you would stay with that ideas and that mindset with everything you do. Even if you're just going to cook a regular pot of rice, keep that mindset of what else can I do with this and how out of the box and how out of the way I can do this. You are on the right path for becoming a really, really, really great chef. So I am looking forward to see you in a few years. You might be hiring me one day.
Let's jet back over to North Andros for some more dish presentations.
Today I've made avocado conch fritters with native avocados from my backyard. And a spicy avocado dressing to dip the conch fritters in with a salsa. And for my dessert, I've made a sweet Androsian rice cake inspired by Benny Cake. And yes, that's all. And I plated the conch fritters with avocado leaves. So that's it.
And Chef Farrington will dig in.
I'm going to just break one for you because normally we do that in the Bahamas.
There we go. That's what I want to see.
She left? This is the inside of the texture. It's nice. You can see it moist. It's still moist. It has flavorful. The tomato and pepper salsa is a good flavor. The aioli from the avocado is nice and creamy.
Cook until we finish. We'll wait on
So it has a nice blend. And you can look inside and see the color. The color, you have your conch bites in there. You have nice bites of conch. And the avocado gives the flour texture a whole new color.
And how was the salsa by itself?
The salsa by itself, mild, but again, for the texture and the flavor, it's fine. It's not overspiced. It's not overspiced. It's neutral. It's refreshing.
Flavors, because of looking at the recipe, I know the flavors are definitely unique. Again, and we're seeing the difference between the family of islands and right here in Nassau in terms of the inclusiveness of these flavors. You know, because we've all eaten conch fritter before, but I don't think we've ever had a avocado conch fritter. You know, so I think that's really nice. What is so unique about that? Because it's an avocado conch fritter, what I would have loved to see maybe a half-ripe avocado that you could cut into chunks, like your onion, your sweet pepper, and your tomato, just to have that in it. Because once you cook it, obviously you can eat it. So that would have just given it a little more presentation inside of it to say that yes, you see the avocado chunks. That's why it had to be more half green if you want to prefer, and cut them up. But also because the products you use, it will obviously change everything to one color brown, and you want some diversification and sometimes your coloring in terms of that. So with the rice, with the one with the rice cake or the rice granola bar, I think that's splendid. That again is another uniqueness and capitalizing on what Chef Adi may say. The creative and the ingenious mind of the island chefs are really in a whole stage by itself. So you have a lot of uniqueness going on. Only thing, just a little more garnishing needs. So you need to work on some garnishing and learn to work on some coloring presentation because everything is brown. You could have like a red coulis or something to put under that cake just to give it a little, another body to it to change the color, or even the red drops around it. But other than that, and judging from Chef Adime, when she tasted how she described the flavoring, and from our perspective of looking at what we're saying, it's a very great job and really outside the box thinking again. Thank you, great job.
Starting from the beginning, watching you cook, I would have to say that you were trained. Oh, they're gone.
We're watching you.
You can hear us?
Yes, they could see. Continue.
Okay, so like I was saying, sorry about that. Like I was saying from the beginning, they still there?
Could you hear us, Chef?
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool.
Just keep
watching you cook, it was Jesus Lord of Juice.
I think you
Look at this. Oh, okay.
they're hearing you.
No, she was saying connecting.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, watching you cook, I would have to say you really showed your professionalism, that you were trained very well. You handled your station very well, very clean and organized. So I really enjoyed watching you cook. Piggyback off of what Chef said, I wish I did see more colors with your final presentation. Everything I'm sure tasted great, but to see a little pop of green, or not green, but reds or maybe orange somewhere here and there would have really made the dish stand out, especially that rice dish.
Yeah.
If you just had a simple red oil or orange, something would have really made that dish pop out. But I'm sure overall the dish was great. And again, out of the box thinking, when it came down to the menus itself, I'm really impressed all around with all the islands so far. Inagua, South and North Andros, you guys really showing out right now and making us proud.
Let me ask a question.
Thank you.
Let me just ask a question. I know almond is inside it. Is that the local almond or the imported almonds?
They're local.
Oh, boy.
Excellent. Even
We
better
baked it
still.
and shelled it.
Yeah, I'm
We
used to
baked
that.
and shelled it.
Nice.
Yes, excellent.
Yes, sir.
Chef,
You
anything?
good?
Yes.
Can I bring in the next candidate?
Yes.
1 second, Chef.
1 second.
Wait. Leslie, I need to have this on record. Mrs. Bettel and Mrs.
Roma?
Roma, you need to talk, Leslie. I can't get the door to talk.
Okay,
We have time because I have to go.
Rachel, what I wanted to add is looking at your ingredients list, your time plan, your methods, your whole structure on your portfolio. Was it done solely by yourself?
No, sir. It was done with the help of my coach, Miss Leslie.
Okay, no reason why I asked, because it is very defined, it's very detailed, it's very well put together. It gives us an actual view of your dishes. Although we are not there, we can actually tell by looking at this that you executed your dishes based on your portfolio. And I must commend you and your teacher on this, because most students, when they put their portfolios together, either they just copy and paste off the internet the recipes and the ingredients, and not look at it and break it down properly, and break down the nutritional values of each item or their dishes. But this is well put together. I really was impressed about this. And I also can say I was really impressed about your performance in the kitchen. You performed like you were. I don't want to say. I was going to say.
Trained executive chef.
Like you was an executive chef. Let me put it that.
She was used to it.
You were confident in the kitchen. I didn't see any stumbles. I didn't see the nerves from here in the studio. I don't know what the tension was like in the kitchen, but from us watching here, it looked that you were very confident. It looked that you were you executed your dishes based on your practice. I don't know how much time you had to practice, but it looks from us watching, it looks like you were practicing this for weeks, months, the way how you executed. I know I'm wrong, because I'm sure that you had a short window, but based on us watching you, with your nice skills and the way you kept your kitchen, your area well organized and clean at all times. I must commend you on that. And with your dishes, like I said, go back to that. Based on your ingredients that you have listed here and your methods, and looking at your dishes, the end result, I'm sure it matches exactly what you perform and executed today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the teacher, based on her practices today, on her performance today, is it the same when she practiced?
Yes.
Boy, you get a short
She
answer.
Was yes.
Okay, but that's good.
She did the same thing while she was practicing and kept tasting her dishes and seeing if it'll like form right with the rice cakes. If the comforter butter was hot enough, salt or ghost pepper. Or like if there's more garlic or ginger should be added in any one of her recipes.
Okay, very good, very good.
Today I prepared for you 2 dishes, one entailing flour and the other in rice. For my flour dish, I made a sea grape dilly delight with a sea grape chantilly. And for my rice dish, I made some rice balls that had Wilkes, conch, lobster, and our very own native crab. And it was coated in almond and coconut instead of
Breadcrumb.
the regular breadcrumbs. And I also included a cilantro mango in the middle.
I found it very interesting, but you know, the students are working with limitation. I'm gonna taste. Now we know she said drink. So that means I'm gonna have all of the combinations in here.
It actually look alright.
Yeah, I like the texture already. See, I love crab. When you cook it anyway with crab and rice, this is see the other way of cooking it. You could bring it out, the flavors.
I'll let the camera zoom into that dish again for my plate, chef.
Okay, I'm having the Andres seafood, mango, chili soy sauce.
How's the texture and how does the
Crab.
sauce work with the dish?
It's supposed to be a rice ball.
Do you taste the
Okay.
rice?
So, yeah, we know a good percentage of rice is in there.
How does the sauce go with the dish?
The mango sauce.
Oh, darling, if you're sitting on the bar, you'll order a case of other stuff. I just love this.
It's a good bar
And
food,
it
eh?
varies. It's spicy, and you say jerk, it's
That's
spicy.
what I want.
So you
Yeah.
would definitely would need the salsa to cool it off.
That's
But you
what I
have the
want,
rice in there.
That's what I want, yeah.
And the cilantro. And the amazing thing is, everything is almost, you know, even the cilantro is from here in Andres. So I'm having all of those together.
Now,
Yes?
Chef Adime, we know crab has a distinct flavor by itself, but how does that combination, can you really taste the difference, or is the crab overpowering? Or you can still taste, you know?
You can still taste it because the amazing thing when she was doing her cooking technique, she did the veggies, like you would say, a mirepoix veggies, and then she added the crab fat.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
yes, the crab fat, and then she cooked down the crab fat in her mirepoix for the rice. And then, so the interesting thing is the cooking of the fat was interesting because it brings out the flavor.
Yes.
And she added the rice, and you can see the rice was a good 75% was just the rice, and that means I know they can have a cocktail party after because they have some mess, but the whole idea is
Crazy.
the flavors are here, but the,
Okay.
the combination of everything here is just brown, and
Yeah,
luckily
I was
for the
looking at
orange,
that.
the little pale yellow, orange, which is the mango.
So add more
And
color
because they
into
have
the
different
rice.
teachers here, our salsa to somebody might be different another person coming from another Caribbean country, but when you get to the Bahamas, taste and flavors is what really tells. So the salsa really cools off the drink flavor
So did
that you would have on your tongue.
Chef, did she allow the crab and vegetables to fume? I mean, I was listening to her technique of cooking it, crab and rice. But you know, basically, if you're using fresh land crab, you would allow that to cook in a little oil until that fat begin to foam before you add all of the other ingredients to ensure that all of any bacteria or anything would not be living. But remember, it's a scavenger. So,
Yes.
so you have to
And then that's
bring
what
that to
the
her
star
attention.
did. Yes, chef. You noticed that while she was doing the preparation, she did hot front, because I was paying close.
'Cause I know that
attention
you
to
would
that,
be, yes.
Because I have to eat that, yes.
Yes.
And so what she did is she sauteed, she cooked out her veggies
Mhm.
and add her fat to it.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then she add a little bit more fat to it
Mhm.
and let it cook out while the rice was being cooked. That's when you saw her measuring the rice and cooking the rice. So by the time the rice was done and she had cleaned up all the lobster and all the other stuff that she bought along with her, then she was able to put it in the blender. It was cooked out. Yes, it was really cooked out.
okay.
Crab
Okay.
fat Cooked out, so it was cooked out.
So she blended
'cause I was
all-
paying attention to that.
She
Yes.
blended all of that and then added it made it into a ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But the interesting thing is just a special note. I send chef a note because sometimes the art and science of cooking is tricky. And so she had a tiny little pot to start with, and then she realized she needed a bigger pot because once you drop two of those, and that's when Clem asked me what was she cooking in. The texture from the seafood had already cooled down
Cooled
because
down
of
the
the
oil, yeah.
coolness from the product that she was making. It cooled down the fat, and so it started to bubble. So she had to rework her oil and everything else. So, yes.
So the fat wasn't hot enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we thought it
Yes.
was poached.
Yes. Yes, Claire, Mr. Williams had noticed that he wanted what she was cooking in, and that what she was cooking in.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one here, this is the dilly. The dilly kind of dissipates, so I am happy that she put some in the texture. Again, she brightened it up a little bit, so I'm gonna go with all of the elements. I don't see the dilly, but I know the sea grape hold up and held this color. So the dilly, more than likely, she has some inside the mixture, and they have to rework this one as well. Yeah, she wanted to steam and cook it inside. It cooks straight through, as you can see. I could do like this with a spoon. You can eat it with a fork, knife, and spoon if you care to, but I do that so you can see the texture is cooked straight through, and you have a little dilly in the middle there. So you have a little dilly along with her little cream, and they have some fresh mint from the garden, and I'm gonna add the flavors.
How does the sea grape and the dilly work together?
Because that's really too stark.
Interesting.
That's too stark.
Yeah, I really want to know. It's interesting.
Very interesting. It balanced, it doesn't overpower, but the amazing thing is she still had the pulp from the sea grape. Because see, if she had pulverized it any further, it might have,
Disappear.
Yeah.
How she left the meat and the pulp from the sea grape, it gives it almost like a capsule when she turned it upside down. And in here you can see the little paleness from the sea grape color.
Yeah.
And that is the dilly. Yeah. And maybe if she had, like she said, she did some food and science. If she had went and baking, it all would have been the same gray color. And remember, she got this color because of the dilly. Dilly just packed the color and dilly almost have like a rusted
dilly
color.
could.
And that's why you see the dough is rusted.
Yeah. Dilly's a strong
so-
color.
If she had not put some of the dilly in some of the mixture, you would have been able to see the plain flour color. Then you would have seen the dilly color, which is the gray, and then you would have seen the dilly would turn that flour color gray, and then she has some natural dilly, and she really did some research. We didn't lose the natural dilly, nor did we lose the sea gray color. So it's something new for Mahatma. something in Robin Hood. It's something very new and interesting. And then she topped it up with
Chef Adame, you're too far from the mic.
And then she topped it off with some of the rind from the lime. So you have some of that citrus coming in with some of the sweetness, coming in with some of the tartness from the dilly and the sea grape.
Yeah, I like that.
If you look down here, you will see her showing you the significance of the freshness of the products that she would have. But if you look right down here on this flyer, you will see some of the significance of the freshness of the food items that she would have used today. And the dilly she used is really a wild berry dilly, because the dilly she used is not the big round dilly. It's like
the oval shape one.
the dilly she used, right? The dilly she used, that's like that wild dilly. It has an oval shape to it. Yeah. And then, she used the black crab, so it had very good flavor. Yeah. And then she still have clusters of sea grape. So she used some of her sea grape, and then she has conch. And the only thing she didn't put in there is took a picture of the lobster before they cracked it and bring it to the kitchen today. Okay, but it's interesting how they combine all the local food that they were able to find in Andros and made themselves something special. And the dessert, the nice sliver of the segment of the lime peel, really, really, really hang up and cleanse the palate as you finish this flour dish.
First thing I want to say is, one thing about presentation is plate, and that's something Chef Adi may hit on, but I have to reiterate that again. You can't put too much item on a small plate. It's like putting, something tight, putting something small on something that is big and it's tight. It looks congested, and it takes away the actual beauty and the presentation of your food, because the plate just doesn't go along with the size of the product that you has on it. It takes the beauty away from it, because everything just seems clustery and small.
One item.
But another thing, I love the uniqueness, and somehow that seems to be what all of the family islands has in common. They have a uniqueness about themselves in terms of their products, their usage of their products. They really sit down, there was thought put into your presentation. And I love the meshing of flavors. I really love that. I mean, I know that's a world of flavor. They're bold flavors, they're strong flavors, the 4 items that you use, especially in the dish you're holding. And the good thing about it, because of the type of flavor used, you find the right type of slaw, which is a mango, something sweet that could take the contrasting of the salt and the bitterness away from all of those seafood products. But again, be careful of your portion size. And sometimes try to find some garnishes to bring up, because both of your plates are dark. You have 2 plates that are dark, and because you've used the sauce on the other one, it seems to blend in also, and especially with a small plate. But I can hit you on your productivity, your professionalism in the kitchen. Again, you work like a real true professional in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. I love the dishes that you've made. I love the uniqueness, because I've never heard putting grape and mango, banana, dilly and grape together. That's an awesome combination, and the seafood combination. So you have something unique, you have something that is red, and you have something that is Bahamian. Only thing now to do is expand on that. Become just a little more creative with your execution. Just your execution, because I'm sure you have the flavors, I'm sure you have the taste. I'm sure all of that is just your execution to work on. And you'll be amazed to see how far you could go and the development of your own self, along with your teachers, and what you could do 2 or 3 years now from down the road. I'll be amazed to know what you can put together. But I think the execution, the flavors, the meshing, the emulsions of those, it's amazing. I can't say too much about how your mind thought and where you went to come up with those type of boldness and flavors and just put it together. Great job, well done. Thank you.
It's time now to check in with Hope Leslie in South Andros, who encountered some technical issues in her kitchen and had to be allowed some extra time to complete her dishes. She powered through those challenges, though, and now she's ready to present.
Flour dish, as mentioned, was originated from a dish that was commonly made back in the days by my great-grandmother. I used curry, basmati rice, coconut flakes, and coconut milk to enhance the flavor, and also to keep in keeping with the theme, I wanted to include the coconut into my dish. The original rice below was made from rice, Irish potatoes, and boiling water, and they would put the Irish potatoes inside of the rice and eat it just like that. But for my dish, I decided to glaze the potatoes instead of putting inside the rice and use the coconut flakes as a substitute. I garnished it with carrot flowers and basil leaves.
Chef Hazel Roll will now dig into this dish and let us know how it turned out.
The fish, she had a little challenge with the fish.
Okay.
Due to the stove was off and on, and the fish didn't come out, so she explained that to me.
Okay. This is curry and rice, coconut rice. It's a quick question for the curry and coconut rice. Is there supposed to be a sauce, or is that rice right there, the curry and coconut?
Curry and coconut, the grated coconut I showed you earlier inside the bag.
Oh, it's the shit that's in the rice.
Put it inside the rice. She have that inside the rice, and then I can pick up some and show you the grated coconut.
All right.
This is a piece of it.
What is the texture of the rice?
It's raw, slightly raw, dry, and fresh.
What's that in front of the rice? The garnish. What's that brown garnish?
This the potato. She said instead of she glazed the potato.
It's supposed to be
Irish potato.
It should be in a croquette.
Yeah.
Okay, so chef, you're saying that the rice
is
raw.
Not what she said. No flavor.
And also is
No
bland.
flavor.
Is also bland.
Yeah, fresh.
Did she do anything with that garnish on top?
Yeah, she made if you look at the carrot, she made like a little roses like this.
That probably took us so long.
That took up too much time. That's great.
Okay, is it seasoned? Is it like, had some type of blanching, have some type of vinaigrette or something on it to go along with it?
No, that's a raw carrot.
Oh, that's raw.
Yes,
It's just
and
raw.
created her own rice. She didn't blanch it or nothing.
It's just raw.
This is raw, sitting on top of cooked rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the potato garnish in the front? Is that cooked properly?
Yes.
What about the flavors?
Flavor's great.
Combined with the
Exactly right.
potatoes?
He's saying
Pardon?
potatoes
No,
is
the
good.
potato by itself is
The
great.
potato by itself.
Oh, it's good. Oh.
Potatoes by itself.
How does it taste with the rice?
And the judges are figuring out just how to judge Hope's dishes, given the issues she had in her kitchen.
Nothing to the salsa.
So it's just a natural sour
Yes,
sop.
period.
Okay,
Yeah,
chef.
just a natural salsa.
Okay, chef, let me ask you this. Chef Mike, what is your take on this two dishes based on her circumstances? And we also we gave her sufficient time to complete the dishes. What is your take on that?
What I need to know is, did she get to use the stoves the proper way?
It had nothing to do with the stove. She had a gas issue.
Not 100.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm saying, did it go off while she had the products in?
Fluctuating.
Chef Hazel?
It was in and out, chef.
That's what she said, fluctuating.
See, that's a problem.
So that was
Cook
affect
it
the
on
final
a low
outcome.
heat. She can cook it on high heat.
So you can't
If
cook
she
it
cook it
on
on
low
high
heat.
heat,
Can't
the
be done.
gas will start
I can
smelling
give a
inside
point
the
for
kitchen.
that. My thing is
So
not
that was her
the
challenge with the
execution of
stove
a dish.
here.
My
The
dish
first
is a
stove which she
final
practiced
approach to
on
the dish.
is where the
Could
gas
you
is
have a
leaking.
dumpling soup
And they
with the
decided
sour
not to
sauce.
use that
See, there's-
stove.
I could deal
So
with
she
the
ended
raw
up using
dumpling because
another
of the
stove,
stove.
but the gas still
was that
leaking
her
out, flowing
original
out
idea,
somewhere.
the sour sop sauce with the dumpling soup? I
Chef,
can't
was
understand
this
that.
the original idea, or did she change?
Well, hold on. So,
Because of the-
just for the sake of argument, right? She doesn't say soup. She said
She did
cassava.
say soup when she pronounced, but
She might have misspoke because
Yeah,
what
but we
I'm
gotta
reading
go
right
with
now
the-
is
I'm
just
saying
cassava.
cassava, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
cassava and conch dumpling with the Congo town sour sop sauce. She ain't saying soup. She's
didn't
just
say
saying
soup.
she make a dumpling and put sour sauce in it.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
So she might have misspoke
Oh,
when
she
she was
might have
talking.
said, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but what I'm reading is something
The
different.
dumpling. Now, that's
Yeah.
a different thing. If
Yeah.
you say dumpling, then I could go
Because
with
she
that.
said conch dumpling filling. Because
Yeah, so
the
it's a-
dumpling
yeah.
was
Oh,
filled with
just a
some sort
filling.
of conch
Okay,
filling.
I thought
yeah.
she said dumpling soup. That's why.
But because of the heat fluctuating,
I
they
could
may
go
not
with
have
that. I
cooked
could
it,
give her
yeah,
some
cooked
points
it
for that.
properly.
I
I mean,
can give
what
her
I
some
would,
points.
what I think is fair, speaking for myself, I would give her.
Fine. Am I on?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
we
want to
can
say it
hear
again?
Go ahead, Chef
The
Arthur.
flour dish is fine, because when I go back to the recipe, I
say
see cow
dumpling.
cassava
And conch
dumpling.
so it's fine.
Congo town sour sop
Sauce
sauce
and
with tomato coulis.
coulis. So
I ain't see no tomato coulis. So
It's on
I
the
know where the
side.
tomato coulis going. But I know
Yeah, she
the
had to do the
technique for
side.
Yeah,
rice.
the tomato coulis, the tomato coulis
was
is
on the
supposed to be
side.
on the side in the little spoon.
Okay, Hope, we'll start with your rice dish. Okay, I look at it. You had a challenge with the stove, I could understand that, but the rice is a little raw. It's in between cooked and not cooked. Also, it's fresh. Have no seasoning to it. So what? The fish, we will bypass that for the day. We understand you try your best. You did 100% to try to get this completed. But you still managed to complete it, whatever you have to complete it. I really appreciate what you did, even though I tried to talk to you and encourage you more to don't give up, because you're never supposed to give up. Quitters never win. So just bear that in mind. Moving forward, hopefully next time, or if how things goes today, you started to come back, you'll have a better cooking area on the stove, work properly, you don't manage your way out. Watching you preparing your dish is really, really, really unique. I watch you as I go, and when you get done, I think I probably getting you nervous at some point, but being a judge is my job to look over you and encourage you, to let you know your time and stuff, and when you hear you had an hour more to go, and so forth, and say, okay, I've given up. I say, no, it's not that time right now. You're almost to the finish, and I continue your work. But the rice dish is way too much to it. The portion size is too big. You probably use a smaller cup. A lot of people like cup. You're trying to go away from cup. You use something different from cupping. Cupping was way back in my days, and so forth. So you could probably move away from the cupping a little bit, cup your rice. And so forth. So we just want to just move away from that a little bit.
Hope Leslie, first of all, let me just say, on behalf of the chefs, we apologize for the circumstances that you had to go through in the kitchen today. It's unfortunate that we had an issue with the gas situation, but I must say from watching you and getting information and feedback from the chef, you did not stop. You wanted to stop, but you didn't stop. You continued. You did your best. And through all of that, we take in consideration. And in the end, you still produced 2 dishes, a rice dish and a flour dish. And on that, I want to commend you on that. Most chefs, when they mess up in the kitchen, they give up. But you didn't. Okay? You continued, you pushed, and you produced something for us. We understand that the dishes didn't come out exactly like how you wanted them to come out, or how you practiced them to come out, or how you have them set in your portfolio to come out. And we take all of that in consideration. All right? And we really, really do appreciate your effort and the execution. Also, by watching you today, you did an excellent job in the kitchen. When it comes down to your sanitation, your knife skills, the way how you move around the kitchen, the way how you had your mise en place set up, organized. Everything was organized in the kitchen. You were flawless. Although you was the only student in the kitchen, you did an excellent job in the kitchen. I must say that. Hats off to you, and hats off to your coaches and your parents. All right? With the dishes, we observe, or at least what I observe, I know there were some challenges with it. I'm not going to go too much in detail with it because it's not exactly what you set out to do. But based on your rice dish, like I said, basically because of the gas situation, the rice is not fully cooked. Some of the flavors are not there. The rice is bland. A little more effort should have been put into the presentation of the rice. Instead of just cupping the rice, you could deconstruct the rice and do something different with the rice. Also with the potatoes, you could incorporate the potatoes in the rice if you wanted to. The garnish on top with the carrots. If it was me, I would have sauteed the garnish and maybe some fresh mint and season it up a little bit, add some butter, some fresh spices, and infuse a lot of other items into it to give it a little kick instead of just putting the raw carrot on top. Also, same thing with the garnish you had on top, the thyme you have on top. Was that thyme? The green leaf. What the green leaf was?
Oregano.
Okay, with the oregano, I would have dropped the oregano in a fryer and deep fried it, have it set, and had it set on top of the rice. I would have tried and do maybe some type of seafood sauce to accompany the rice with, just to enhance the presentation of it, enhance the flavor of the rice. But like I say, because of the circumstances, I know you couldn't execute the dish exactly how you want it. But like in the end, you did produce a rice dish, and I must commend you on that. Your flour dish, back to go it again. Same thing with the situation with the gas situation. The dough isn't fully cooked, and the description of what you have inside the portfolio isn't the description that you have on the plate. I know that you had to come last minute and reconstruct the plate different from what you have inside the portfolio, and I commend you for that also, because you didn't give up. You think outside of the box and you came up with an idea with the plate. All I can say is you did an excellent job, From all the chefs who were here, we watch you. They talk about you, how you executed your knife skills. I don't know if it was your teacher who taught you how to use a knife, or you learned it at home. The way you handle a knife, the way you present yourself in the kitchen like a real, true professional. And I must say again, I can't stress it enough. You did an excellent job, and I commend you for that.
A very eventful day in the kitchens this go round. Day 2 is done, but we'll be back with day 3 of the Bahamas Young Chef Culinary Competitions, where students from Exuma, San Salvador, and the Berry Islands will bring their best. I'm Ayanthea Ferguson. See you next time.